Just a little bit about your educational background. Did you study education? Did your wife study education? Because you guys are now both offering this, the education to the students. Did you guys study education?
From my side, I did science,
Okay.
more specifically chemistry. So I am actually a chemist
Okay.
by profession, up to master's level.
Oh, wow.
And I have been teaching this is my 8th year that I've been teaching as a teacher.
We know that these different phases are there based on the particle arrangement, based on the intermolecular forces between the particles, based on the spacing, based on how they move, right? Now we want to see how does the thermal properties of this affect this different matter. Are we together? Okay, so on the first part of it, which I'll not discuss today, is just to look at some kinetic theory in these different phases, right? Now I want to focus today on thermal capacity or heat capacity, right? So let's just put that down. Let's say we're going to look today at thermal capacity. Okay, now we all already know that thermal is related to heat. What about the word capacity? What does it mean to you?
I've been at 4 different schools, 2 private, 2 state schools. My wife did education in science and maths.
Okay.
In grade 11, you guys did quadratic equations and a linear equation. You end up with how many solutions when you solve this? 4. How do you get the 4 solutions? It means this equation is equal to that. Where they meet is where those 2 equations are equal to one another. Okay? So that means for that question, you must equate those 2 equations. Are we together?
Yes.
So at that point where they meet, that is when these 2 equations are equal to each other. Are we following? Okay? So you equate the 2 and then you solve it. Are we following? Okay? So at that point you will end up with 4 solutions because your answer for the x squared, when you have a quadratic equation, you end up with 2 solutions. Now those 2 solutions of x will give you the value of y. Let's assume that the 2 values of x are 2 and 3. So for me to get my y value, I'll say 2 plus 1 and y is also equal to 3 plus 1. So I'll get the solution of 3 and the solution of 4. This is when x is equal to, when your x is equal to 2. And then here is when your x is equal to 3. So if I have to write the coordinate points, that means it's meeting at 2 and 3. And here it's meeting at the point 3 and 4. Are we together?
Yes, ma'am.
Because here I'll have an x value, a y value, an x value and a y value.
Also now recently obtained her master's in mathematics education.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and then the staff we work with are qualified. They're certified education, or they are qualified in education in the subjects that we offer. So we have a team that we work with.
So this is basically not yet a graph, né? Your graph should have your what? Should have your x, axis, and then the what? The y-axis, and then the y-axis. Now it becomes what? Now it becomes a graph. Are we together? So now this one's become a graph. Remember that whenever you are drawing or constructing a graph, ensure that it's having the y-axis and the x-axis. Now on the x-axis are values or points of the x coordinates. Are we together? Or the x points. So on the y-axis, they are basically what? What? The y points. Are we together? Are we together, class? I want you to know these basic things.